to the pod. My name is Bianca. I am your host for today's episode. The pod is called Get Spooked. And let me tell you, I have recorded this episode way in advance. I was actually gonna post a Tuesday episode, but let me tell y'all. Okay, let me tell y'all what happened. One, I was using that Riverside fucking shit that Spotify has going on. Ass. Okay, ass. You have to pay for more than like 2 hours of recording, and the camera quality using this Logitech webcam was actually ass, even though whenever I go on OBS it is totally fine. It's actually amazing. Okay. And I made the mistake of not being able to use my new camera that I got, because it it needs another wire, it needs another cord. So we're stuck using this, which low key I don't mind. Okay, I don't mind because I might use the other camera for other like YouTube videos, like actual YouTube videos. I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna do that because I just don't know where this is gonna lead us, because there's a podcast called Scary-ish, and they are hosted by two hosts, they're partners. Um and I heard that Spotify is doing some fuck shit, okay? I don't know if I'm gonna continue because supposedly they do their research on this, so I'm wanting to take their word for it. But again, I am going to look into it. But supposedly, all of your intellectual like property, Spotify has the right to. So if they want to make a show off of your like stuff that you're putting out, like your content, they can do that. And honestly, I don't know if I'm ever gonna be like that big to be doing that, but um, I just don't like other people having my shit, especially big corporations. So, and it kind of sucks because, like they said on their podcast, Spotify gives you like a really big um range. Like their outreach is huge. So I'm kind of nervous about that because capitalism, the way the United States is going, I don't know. I don't know. And I don't know if there's any other platforms that are better than one or the other, but I have heard that there's negative things that the CEO or somebody higher up in Spotify does, like spending thousands of dollars on AI attack drones. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And I just started my podcast. So honestly, if I'm putting all this time and effort into something, I kind of want it to be mine and mine alone. Oh my god, it's gonna start to flicker again. No, please. I've tried so hard to set this shit up because I also tweaked with the settings and stuff, and this is the second time I am doing like a video format for the podcast, because last time I was super busy. My I saw it flicker. I saw it fucking flicker. For the audio listeners, this won't bother y'all, but for the visual and audio listeners, or just the visual watchers and all that stuff, y'all are gonna be so fucking annoyed, okay? But I messed with the mic settings because I wanted to see if there was like a better quality. See, it's flickering. It's flickering. I don't know. And I don't have a cord. I don't have a cord for uh my better camera. But yeah, so I recorded this in my living room. Uh it was very disappointing because I was very excited. Quality was shit, audio was shit. Um Program I thought was like really like coming through, okay? It was very like straightforward, very easy, but at this point, fuck it. At this point, fuck it, because I'm trying to strive for better quality stuff. So I should cut my losses and all that. But this is actually kind of like making me mad. It's flickering. As you can also tell, I'm not wearing any makeup because I washed my face and I put retinol on because I'm breaking out a little. It is what it is. But what else do I want to rant about? Yeah, my body's in pain right now. I was gonna take a special little gummy, if y'all know what I mean. If y'all know what I mean. Because I don't know, my body's just in pain. I don't know what it is specifically. There's like a lot going on in my body. I was like, no, maybe I shouldn't do that because I don't know when it's gonna like set in and if I can like pay attention or if I'm just gonna like get a knockout. So we'll see. Also, if y'all hear anything, I have my puppy in here. She's a Frenchie, so obviously they can't fucking breathe. And I also have my nephew in here, my doggy nephew. My brother left him with me for 2 fucking weeks. I didn't know he's gonna leave him for 2 fucking weeks, but we can't change that. So he's here, and I can't wait for my brother to come pick him up because I'm not saying he needs to go, but he needs to go because I haven't had a chance to record because I'm trying to wait for them to settle down because one, they will literally cry and cause mass destruction if I leave them alone. Two, they just won't settle down with each other. They like play fight all the time and it's like they never get tired and I'm just like chill out. So this is my one moment of fucking peace. This is my one moment of fucking peace. So here we are. Um so yeah, that's my life right now. So I haven't got a chance to really do anything. And honestly, I was kind of pissed off. I was really pissed off because I recorded it. I talked fully. I had all my shit to a T down. And that program really fucked me in the ass, bro. That program really fucked me in the ass because it wasn't that bad of quality whenever I do it on OBS and I set everything up myself except for like the camera flickering. That's the only thing. But honestly, it really just took the camera quality to like you have to pay to unlock those premium fucking features and I'm not paying $24 a month. I'm not paying no $24 a month. I'm broke. Okay? I'm fucking broke. Whatever I have on hand is whatever I'm fucking using. Okay? I spent my money on that camera and now I need a cord. Okay? Now I need a cord. So I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. But yeah. Anyways, so what else did I rant about? I don't know. Also, I have chosen my Halloween costume. I want to be a retro alien. Now y'all bitches copy me. Just kidding. Just kidding. I guess. No, but I wanted to do something like creative. Like I didn't want to do like a clown or a vampire or like something scary this year. I wanted to do like, wow, that's kind of unique, but not really. Um, I wanted to kind of like, uh, I didn't want to do special effects really this year for my Halloween costume. And I also didn't want to do anything like Halloween ish. I kind of wanted to do like something funky. So my brain landed on Alien, especially retro Alien, because my dad has been watching Star Trek and he's been watching the shows and all that stuff. And I be seeing them aliens. I'm like, that's a little funky. That's a little weird because a lot of them were set in like it's like 70s. Well, not just Star Trek, but it's like a bunch of other alien esque movies or shows. And I'm like, I'm feeling inspired. I'm feeling really inspired. So I'm gonna do that. What else? Oh my god, Megan is coming to Texas for Halloween. For Halloween, the 31st. I want to go so bad, but I don't know. I'm very like an introverted person and I get tired really easily and I get like really sleepy and I'm like, it's time to take a nap. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm also wanting to do like a couple of other type of topics, but I'm gonna get into that later, like further or at the end of the show or in the end of the episode. So we'll see if I talk about that because I did talk about it um on the failed episode that I did. That was so sad. I'm so sad about that to this day. Actually, I'm not sad. I'm fucking pissed. You know, I'm fucking pissed. Also Timu, I ordered stuff on Timu for the first time. And let me just tell y'all, I kind of didn't want to cuz I wanted I was kind of either I'm stupid or I'm dumb or I'm both or I'm just easily scammed because Timu said, "Hey, yo, You want to get some free credits? I was like, period. I need a new cat tree for my babies because they don't want to be around the dogs, but they still want to free roam. So I was like, period. I want to get a cool little cat tree off of Timu. So I started buying shit. I bought three things, three items. It was a lip gloss. I know what y'all are thinking. Oh my god, Timu lip gloss. You probably have like fucking bubbles on your mouth. Your mouth is like disintegrating. It's disgusting. No, I don't give a fuck. Okay, this was like a pretty well known Chinese brand for lipstick and makeup. So fuck it. I got it. And let me tell y'all this packaging, T. T, bro, T. It was so cute. Okay. And the color in the application, chef's kiss. That's all I have to say. And it's not sticky. It's not. You put your lips together. And you know how sometimes like saliva in your lip gloss and like in the opening of your mouth, like in the crease of your mouth, and there's like that white shit, and you look like you did something dirty. Guess what? That doesn't appear. That doesn't appear on there. And so it also smells a little minty. So I'm kind of excited for the next one I got. It was like a dark vampy color. It's more of a lip stain, so I'm pretty excited for that. And I got a phone case because this one I kept dropping on the floor, well, on the not even on the floor, on the fucking concrete because whenever I was taking my brother's dog out for a walk, he kept tugging the same. Well, this is my fault because I'm stupid, but he kept tugging the leash, okay? And he's a pretty big dog. I have no strength within me. And I had the leash in the same hand I had my phone in, and I was trying to look for something. I forgot what I was looking at, but he was tugging, okay? And every time he tugged, my phone flew out of my hand and would hit the fucking concrete. And this one's kind of like scratched up, and it did what it's supposed to do, but the edges, if y'all already know, like any type of like rubber resin, I know that I keep hitting this, so my bad. But any type of rubber or resin kind of turns yellowish on the sides. Y'all won't be able to, for the listeners, y'all don't see what I'm pointing at, but for the viewers, y'all see. But it's like this. Oh, y'all see all my information. Thank you. Anyways, let's get it poppin', bitches. So today I want to talk about my friend. They didn't give me, I don't know, they never said that I could say their name. So let's call them A because their name starts with A. They're one of my only friends. I can count my friends on my hand. Okay, I can count my friends on my hand. But this particular friend, we've known each other since like middle school, and it's been damn near 6 years since I've been out of school. Okay, I am 24. Okay, I'm 24. So it's been a long time. And he's known my best friend for like ever. So I asked him in the Instagram chat, I was like, hey y'all, you got any supernatural paranormal scary stories that I can share on my podcast? And they're like, because at first I was like, hey, do you have any from Mexico? And obviously they're like, hey, I don't have anything from Mexico, but I got some scary stories or I got some weird stories. You want to hear? I was like, bitch, drop it in the thing. And they're like, where you want it? And I was like, well, you can either put it here or on the email. And I sent them the email, but they decided to put it in the thingy my bobber, the DMs, okay, the DM group chat. So they did that. I took screenshots of them. So here we are. I'm gonna name this my friends paranormal encounters. And so hold on, my lips are peeling. They get like dry, and then I start to bite my lips, and then all this shit. Like it's bad. I have a habit of picking at my lips, so they look busted. That's why. That is why. It's because I pick at them. Can y'all hear Pepe? I can't have the dogs and the cats in the same area because my brother's dog will literally go fucking insane. Like he's like either he's so excited or he doesn't know what to do with himself, and I'm afraid he's gonna hurt like smaller animals. But you know what's crazy? He don't do that to ducks. Like I took him to the park today, and we walked around, and there was a whole flock of ducks. Okay, and he didn't do a single thing to them. He walked right past them. But whenever it comes to cats, he's like, "Oh my god, oh my god!" Like he starts crying, like freaking the fuck out. So I can't really, I can't have him in the same room or free roaming because he will freak the fuck out, and then my cats will lay into him, and I don't want to be responsible. But anyways, okay, let's get into it. This is my friend's paranormal encounters. I'm gonna call them A, and I'm gonna use the they them pronouns because they haven't specified what pronouns they want me to use. So I'm gonna just, yeah, I don't want to offend them, even though I've known them for a while. Like, yeah, we're just gonna say that. Anyways, okay, so this is their first story. I'm gonna say it verbatim. So, also if I make mistakes, it is what it is. So bear with me. Okay. Okay. So we got the first encounter straight from my sister. This was when we were kids. My mom was driving at night at the Dallas apartments we used to live at. I think we were going to my aunt's house or aunt's apartment that was close by, and it was pretty dark, but she had her lights on and was driving slow as hell, like normal. Interesting. Then out of nowhere, I see this white figure walking across the street. And because my mom was driving so slow, I thought, oh, she saw her. She'll probably stop. And then my mom didn't, and I screamed at her to stop because she basically hit her. And I was like, did you not see that lady? Who's that lady over there in the chair? Who's that lady there? What fucking lady? Y'all don't do that. I don't know what else to say. But I love that little TikTok audio or that little like whatever. Whatever. I'm embarrassing myself right now. But honestly, lady in white figures have been like, God damn it, I keep using filler words and it's not going so well for me. You know what I also liked about that Riverside app is that it would intentionally like but like fuck. It would take out your filler words for you, and it would also create um a episode transcript essentially. It's kind of like TikTok whenever you hear audio and it kind of AI generates it, which I fucking hate AI because of what it's doing to the environment. But for some things it does come in handy. I have to give it that, okay? I have to. Sorry. But I be saying like a lot. So, my bad, yo. But the lady in white uh that type of phenomenon is very popular. It's very like it's almost everywhere. Like you will not hear a story in any other country or any culture that doesn't have a lady in white situation. There's a lady in white, there's a lady in gray, there's a lady in red, there's a lady in black, okay? There ain't no lady in fucking green. There ain't no lady in yellow, but there's a lady in white. I want to know if it's like an actual spirit, one particular spirit, or if it's a genre of spirits. You know how there's a genre of, for example, the. I don't want to sound ignorant, but Muslims in particular have a supernatural being called a jinn, and it's not like a genie, but genies are based off of jinn. But jinn, they don't go. It's kind of like the same. I don't want to sound ignorant. I don't want people to be like, oh, it's not the same. But essentially, if y'all know what Christianity has about the whole, oh, the fallen angel Lucifer and the gates and all this other stuff, and now they rule on the planet, and angels came down and they were shut down because they didn't want to listen to God, and blah, 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 blah. That's the same type of story origin that the jinn have, and they kind of live the same lives we do, but some of them are evil, some of them are benign, some of them are like they don't really do too much, but they don't believe in spirits or demons. They have jinn, and that's a genre of being, just like what's it called? Not like a, it's like a genre of spirit or supernatural beings. I want to say, like for example, the It's W's, okay? Not no sex workers, okay? It's W's. Flesh pedestrians, if y'all catch my drift, from the Appalachian Mountains. But there's also what is it? The Aswang from the Philippines. They're like fucking nasty little vampires. Nasty little vampires. I want to do a whole story about that. But I feel like the Lady in White might be like a genre of supernatural being and not just one. Because my family has a Lady in White story too. They got a Lady in White story too. I'm gonna lay it on y'all after this one. Okay. So, and she had braked, and I was like, I saw a lady, and she was like, what the fuck? I just said never mind because my mom is blind, so even if I seen something, she wouldn't have seen it. LOL. Anyway, we drove through the lady ghost, and the car didn't hit anything, and it just disappeared after I closed my eyes, bracing for impact. Like whenever my mom drives, and I get a little scared because I don't know, I don't trust other drivers. Okay, I don't trust people around you driving. So anytime I'm in a situation like there's a medium and you gotta go in between, and there's drivers coming left and right and back and forth. I have to close my eyes and I recline my seat all the way back if I'm in the passenger seat because I'm like, Mom, please, please don't. And she's like, shut up, Bianca, who's driving? And I'm like, you, I'm sorry, I'm scared. But my family's Lady in White story, which I believe I told on the discarded episode. Fuck me, bro. That freaking makes me mad. But essentially, my family, my grandma and great grandma used to live in Garland. And if y'all know what Garland is or where Garland is, it is in Texas. Excuse me, pardon me. I had a burp. But um it's not the best, but it's not the worst. But it's becoming gentrified, if y'all know anything about that. But the houses are a little, there's a whole diverse um set of houses. This one in particular is a little wooden house, has 2 rooms, and the family used to live in there. Well, my great grandma and my grandma and her husband used to live in there when I was like a baby. And whenever my mom had to go to work, she used to live way far out, okay, like by Frisco. If y'all know where that is, Frisco, there's towns surrounded by Frisco, and at the time, Frisco wasn't that developed. It wasn't like a dirt road, but the towns beside it were kind of like dirt roads. Um, but development wasn't that advanced at the time, and so my mom made the trip back and forth whenever she first bought property out in the middle of fucking nowhere to get to take me to my grandma to be babysat. And I would stay there for a few days, go back and forth, all this other stuff while my mom worked and made visits back and forth. But essentially, um my grandma was out that day, okay? She was out. Remember that. She was out that day. My great grandma was home. She was doing her thing. She was cooking, cleaning, doing whatever she does. So my great grandma, her name's great grandma Isabel, okay, and my grandma's name is Blanca or Olivia, and so they were my grandma Blanca. She wasn't at home. She was not at home, and my great grandma, she was like she thought she was at home. She thought she was at home, and guess what proved to her that she was at home? She went to go look for my grandma. She was like, um, looking for her. She saw like her laying in a bed, right? She had a white sheet over her and she had dark hair at the time, longer dark hair. And whenever I tell you she went to go and say, Olivia, Olivia, and she grabbed her, she physically touched this person or this thing. She touched their like body, okay? She was moving them and she felt a little cold, so she was like, let me cover you up more. So she was taking a nap. She thought she was taking a nap. And my great grandma Isabel goes about her business and does her thing. And all of a sudden she hears the front door and my grandma Blanca comes in and she was like, hey, I thought you were laying down back there. Like, what's going on? She's like, no, Mom, I've been out all day. And essentially who she touched was a fucking spirit. And that is a woman spirit that has been in that home for who knows how long, because even my dad, whenever he was younger and started dating my mom, and he would come over for sleepovers, he was not allowed in her room. Um, he had to sleep on the couch. She she appeared to him while he was sleeping on the couch. He said he saw some weird freaky shit, but supposedly I can't remember. Every time I ask my dad, I'm like, "Hey dad, you got any scary stories?" He's like, "I don't remember." Um, yeah, but I just can't think of them right now. He is lying to me. He hates me. He don't want me to share to the world about his lore and his backstory. But anyways, that's besides the point. So there's always like a lady in white, specifically. I don't know. I don't know. And Hispanic people, like Latinos, Mexican people, they always got stories about the lady in white. She's always doing something. She's always in somebody's business. Okay. The second one of my friend's story. The second comes from my dad when he was young and used to live in an apartment with my grandparents in Venezuela. Now this one is kind of like wholesome. I want to say it's still a little creepy, but it's kind of wholesome. Honestly, because it don't really, there's no negative to what this entity or spirit or you know person was doing. So let's get started. Pep is yelling in the other room. Okay. He says the complex they used to live in was pretty old and very populated. My grandparents first started noticing a ghost presence when my grandma would suddenly wake up in the middle of the night and she would feel somebody sitting on the edge of her bed. He would leave like an ass print behind on the bed, and they would even see him appear sometimes, just randomly, and sometimes at a specific hour of the night. He would wave at them from across the hall. They described him as looking like a regular old adult man, but the ghost was allegedly fairly friendly to the point where they even got to first name basis with the ghost. Now, I don't remember his name exactly, but I think it was something along the lines of. Now, I said this before and I had a conniption, but Mauricio or Confusio? Confu- Confusio? Confusio? Like confusion? And I even looked this up, bro. It's kind of spelled the same way as the fucking Chinese scholar Confucius. He is yowling, bro. He don't want to be in there. Yeah, literally spelled almost the same way. Confucius, Confucius, the philosopher of spring and autumn. Okay, now how it was spelled in the text or in the DM was Confucio, bro. I was like, so y'all seeing Confucius in y'all's hallway? Great. Um, but yeah, whenever I first read that, I was like Confucius. But anyways, or something like that. But it was mentioned that the ghost would appear and my grandfather would call his name and he'd wave back. So he's like a friendly little old man. He don't really do too much. Except leave ass prints on somebody on the edge of somebody's bed. But that's besides the point. I think it was like an old spirit that used to live there and he was probably really content in that time period of his life. So he likes to visit back and forth sometimes because it doesn't sound like a residual haunting. It sounds like a intelligent haunting if they're responding and waving back and going back first name basis and all that stuff. Because if it was like a residual haunting, it would just be like a record playing and you can't really interact with it. You just see it and it does the same shit over and over again. Um, Pepe, why do you do this? I don't know if it's gonna show up on the thing, but I keep mentioning it because it's kind of getting on my nerves. Okay, so this was a third first hand account. Like they were having fucked up dreams, and let me tell y'all, I've had some fucked up dreams, and but that's for another day. I'm not gonna take the shine away from my friend. Okay, so it said this one's gonna be long as fuck. Okay, and it was kind of like weird. It was kind of weird. If y'all know the area that this happened in, um, cool. I don't know if there's any like historical facts behind this, but again, I don't know the history of the land. Okay. So the next I had to have been like 4 or maybe even younger when my family first moved from the apartment complex in Dallas over to our new at the time house in Little Elm. Now I've always been suspicious, even at 4. So initially, when we moved in, I could sense something looming amongst the empty rooms, but no one ever took me seriously until I started having these really strange and intense, vivid dreams. Even to this day, I can that tell you exactly what would happen in the dreams, and they would be reoccurring for some time. Now, okay, so I just want to let everybody know that sometimes just because there's a house there newly built don't mean the land is not haunted or there hasn't been something in the land because the land can hold a lot, okay, depending on what type of material like stone or whatever, because for example Florida is limestone. It is haunted as fuck, okay. Whatever happened there is probably re-recorded in time for the rest of eternity. So it said that it holds a lot of energy. Limestone holds a lot of energy. Y'all can call me woo woo or whatever. I'm just repeating what I heard and what has been told over and over by multiple different accounts. Okay, limestone supposedly holds like a bunch of energy, and that shit's haunted. Now, in Texas, specifically in this area where I used to live, bro, whenever I tell you that it's clay, that's just clay. You go down and you reach there's like regular soil, topsoil, like some it's very soft, and then all of a sudden you hit clay, just straight clay, in North Texas, um and it's really hard to, for example, to build a basement down there. So even though a lot of the times we have hurricanes down close to the Gulf, and then we also have tornadoes up north, closer to where you would hit Oklahoma and all that stuff. We don't have the luxury, unless you have a shit ton of fucking money, to build a cellar or a basement down there because it's really hard to get past the the clay. You would have to spend a lot of money in a residential area to do that. But I don't know. My mom was thinking about it because she's always like anxious about it. But yeah, if y'all wondering, sometimes a lot of people in Texas or certain areas of North Texas do not have basements or cellars because of the type of layers of uh soil, ground, and sediment and all that bullshit. Geology, yes. I sound super stupid and smart all at the same time. Um but yeah, so I don't know exactly if the land is specifically haunted, but whenever something's built and you disturb spirits that used to live on this land, they get kind of pissed. I'm not gonna lie to you. They will get pissed. Also, I just want to let y'all know that homes, yes, can be haunted, but it's kind of like the energy you put into that house. I will tell you this: people are more likely to be haunted if the entity wants more attention and has seen you as their battery. Because if they are in a home where, let's say, they're like super busy, they're living a really good life, and it's not giving off enough energy, they're gonna go find something else to attach themselves to and not stay in a building where they're like not getting any energy. For example, you know where all the heightened emotions are? In theaters, movie theaters, opera theaters, those type of things. So yeah, yeah, yeah. You might be sitting amongst ghosts during that Avengers movie. Okay, you're so excited, everything's riled up, and they're like, delicious little batteries you are. So, anyways, let me stop. Let me stop and get back to the story. The way I remember it, they almost felt like I was stepping into somebody else's memory, and I could physically feel what was going on in the dream. From the grass beneath my feet to the mountain breeze, there was like this Amazonian landscape, and but with this really tall mountain in the background, and the dream would always start the same. That was a very beautiful description. Thank you. Now, let me tell y'all this. There's like a bezel in my freaking mic thing, like this, like sponge. But there's not any. mountain ranges in North Dallas, Texas. Like, or Dallas, like anywhere near this location, okay? There's no mountain ranges. So they for real going into somebody else's body. I don't know what the fuck going on. But there is no beautiful landscaping. Well, there is beautiful landscaping, but not like no mountains and like that type of stuff. There's like lush grass and it's very flat out here, but you're not gonna see no beautiful mountainscape. Oh, it's touching the heavens type of deal. So their dream is really intense. Let me just tell you that. Okay. So the dream would always start the same. I would just kind of appear in the landscape in front of this young indigenous girl with barely anything on except for jet black twin braids in her hair that would provide some semblance of coverage for her. And from the look on her face, I could tell she was not happy to see me. Now, whenever I think of like the twin braids giving like some semblance of like coverage, a lot of the indigenous people like back then in like South America or like Mexico and stuff like that. I'm not too familiar with how the natives of America used to dress and if they had well, I've seen like pictures and all that stuff, but they were fully clothed. So I'm not too sure if they would have any type of like top covering because usually people in different areas usually if it's like more tropical they would not have tops on that I've seen that I've like the pictures that I've seen. I might be very not exposed to this or I haven't seen that many, but depending on the demographic of for example like if they're in the mountains they're gonna be clothed because you know sometimes it gets colder in the mountains and if they're closer to like more of a tropical sort of environment in the jungle they're going to not have as many clothes on, so I'm kind of confused because the fuck is haunting you? What was haunting you that was causing this? She was mad about something. Okay. Um, from the look on her face, I could tell she was not happy to see me. She would slowly approach without uttering a word until she got close enough to my face to be able to pluck individual lashes out. And she would just stare at me in silence while she did it. And I could genuinely feel as she was plucking my eyelashes out. No, no, ma'am. Then she would just disappear into the background as she was finished. And that's when I would awake in horror. She's like, bye, I'm done. You bald bitch. No. Bro, you're like 4 or younger. That's like even worse. Why was she mad at a child? Was it your past life? Past life? So naturally, as any child does, I told my parents and my sister about it, but no one really took it seriously until dreams such dream the dreams became such a regular occurrence that it started to freak my parents out. Like I get it. Children are imaginative, but if they're like telling you in such a descriptive way, I'm gonna kind of like think about like, hey, you're really creepy because children between those like ages of development, they're still very receptive to spirits and spiritual energies and the other side. Okay, those who are close to death and those who are fresh out the womb, okay, they are very receptive to the other side or different spirits because you know they're fresh into creation. Like I believe in the energy, the law of energy, which cannot be created nor destroyed, just um either transferred or like formed into a different state, if you know what I mean. So in my mind, I'm like, this must be like some past life or something. Cause what the fuck, what's going on? That's kind of freaky. I would believe my creepy kid. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know yet. I don't have no children, so okay. My mom tells her sisters and my aunts, being the ultra religious fanatics they were at the time, come to the conclusion that they think I'm possessed and actually brought in a priest from their church to come and do a blessing on the house and sort of mini baptism on me, since I was the only child of theirs that wasn't baptized. Now, for some Catholics, I believe I wasn't fully immersed in the Catholic religion because we were Catholic for like a quick minute whenever I was younger, and then we were just not really that religious, and then all of a sudden they decided, hey, I want to be Christian. And then I was like, okay, I don't know what's going on. Why are we jumping around and singing like at a concert at 7 a.m.? I want to sleep. But supposedly, if children are baptized, they're um more prone to like possession and all that shit, or more prone to like evil trying to weave its way into their children to lead them astray. Because I think that some people believe that if they don't get their children baptized, they go straight to hell. They just go straight to hell. The child could be innocent, but if they die and they're not baptized, they're just, yeah, there's no saving you. For some, I don't know fully because I hear a lot of conflicting things. I would like to go more in depth about that in different religions. Anyways, my sister did some research on the area with her friends at the time, and from what she told me, she found out that our neighborhood had been built on a Native American burial ground, which I'm not sure is actually true, or if she just liked to scare me, but she upholds her stance on this to this day. Now, I would like to search it up. I will search it up. Let me see. Because honestly, that's like the story for everything. Oh, it's haunted because it was built on a Native American burial ground. Now, sometimes it is true. Like, for example, Savannah, Georgia was built on fucking graves on graves on graves. And it's true that that shit's so fucking haunted. Like, there was a story from the Most Haunted City podcast that there had been like re, re, venerations, I can't say it. Anyways, reconstruction on certain buildings. Like, these are old historical buildings, and they would like fix it up, or they would expand the basement, or they would fix up in there, and then they would see fucking skeletons, dead bodies. They would see shit in the walls. Like, it was crazy. And honestly, I kind of believe it, because you be building on not only, for example, poor slaves that were killed and just left in unmarked burials, but you got fucked up shit that used to happen back then, and they used to just bury people, and then you had reconstruction and shit happening, and they just didn't want to move the bodies, and then they just built on top of them, and they just disturbed their resting place, like Paris's catacombs and shit like that. They just built on top of people's bodies, and it was very unjust. And not only that, but the Georgia in specific, there's like there's a multitude of different cultures, specifically in Savannah, um, like different native tribes, different immigrant tribes, different not tribes, but different cultures all finagling in that area. So there's a lot of shit going on. um I forgot who came to the people, but it's like a group of people, and they're very, I don't know. Y'all need to check out their podcast. I think y'all like it. Anyways, let me search it up. Let me. Now this was like back in the day. This was like back in the day. So I don't know what the fuck they were trying to find whenever they were. I don't know what was available. Like, what type of research like sources were available at the time for them to be like, this was built on a native land, or this was built on native land, which, I mean, everything's built on native land, but particularly native burial grounds. Because I believe each particular native tribe or people have their own type of burial styles and their own rituals, which I would love to get into, about how different people all around the world, different cultures, all that stuff back in the day to this day do their burials, their funeral, their the prep and all that stuff. Because um back in Victorian time or Edwardian time, both of those, before we really got into embalming and preserving and all that stuff, people would literally just have dead rotting bodies on their, like, in their parlors and stuff, for the mourning period, in a wicker basket casket looking thing for the mourning period, to see like the dead body and pay the respects and all that stuff. So not only was it not the best to leave them out and about, but especially if they died in the summer, if they died in a humid area, if, like, all this stuff, and they're not prepping the body. So you have a bunch of decomp, you have a bunch of like stuff going on. So not only is it unhealthy, it's like it's a biohazard. Until later they have went through with embalming, like they went through with preserving stuff so that it is more, I want to say, hygienic to be around dead bodies, to pay the respects and all that stuff, without people contracting certain diseases from dead bodies or certain illnesses or ailments. Because there has to be something that you're not supposed to be close to dead bodies. Because if y'all think about the bubonic plague, not only was like it infested with the sickness, but you got all this bullshit going on with the corpses. And anytime there's like a really big pandemic or epidemic that really takes people out, and they don't take care of the dead bodies and the corpses, there's always going to be some lingering effect on that. But that's besides the point. I don't want to get too much into it. Mummification. Anyways, okay. So, Little Elm Chamber of Commerce, history. So I'm just clicking on the first one. Oh my god. Okay, so whenever I was younger, there was a park and there was like cabins, like old wooden cabins that looked like fucking Burn the Witch era, like 17 or 14 or some bullshit, like really fucking old, okay? Some really fucking old log cabins, founding father type shit. Like they came to have a fucked up little Thanksgiving with the natives, okay? That they had those sitting in the park. And I would always want to go inside because I was like, what's in there? What are y'all keeping in there? Why y'all keeping this little dusty little shed out here? Okay, anyways. It says here the town of Little Elm was charted in 1841 as part of the Peters colony of the Republic of Texas. The area was inhabited mostly by Indian tribes. Why would they use that language? It's 2020. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're past that, okay? We're past that. Native American tribes who lived along the several creeks and transverse traversed the region, providing abundant water for springs associated for wildlife for food. Associated wildlife for food. As settlers discovered, the area also had rich timber source, which provided fuel for the harsh winters and fertile soil. Little Elm remained a quiet lakeside community until surrounding communities' growth began to affect our sleepy little town profoundly. As growth discovered Little Elm in the late 1990s, residents residents prepared for the flood of new residents that were learning about our beautiful lake setting that had been enjoyed so much by a small number of locals for decades. Yeah. Also, if y'all don't know, Lake Louisville is a man-made lake. A lot of bitches be dying in there. A lot of people will be releasing bullshit in there. So there's probably like gators, alligators, crocodiles, who knows what, fucking snakes, dead bodies. There has been dead bodies in there, sadly. Unfortunately. But that shit, that lake is nasty as fuck. Nasty. It smells nasty. I've been in there whenever I was nasty. I'm surprised people don't get no UTIs up at that bitch, okay? It's gross. It is so gross. Um, but yeah. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Oh my god, there's a cemetery called the Zion Cemetery. And they built houses around it. But that little cemetery has been there for fucking who knows how long. I'll search that later. Anyway, so I guess my friend's sister was right, or kind of right. I don't know in particular if that specific land plot was their burial site, but if there was a lot of indigenous tribes around the area, of course, if they're settled in some type of area, they're gonna bury their dead. You know. Let's see. Okay. The dreams went away after that, but similarly enough, a few years later, my cousins began to have paranormal poltergeist occurrences in their house, which was not far from ours. And I could also touch on that subject, but that would be writing like a whole essay. I don't give a fuck. You need to write it. Use some Grammarly. Use that voice to text message option. Do whatever you need to do. Okay, I want that content, bitch. I want the content. But yeah, anyways, y'all. Yeah, ain't that some shit? I learned something today. I didn't learn that in the past episode. Um, but supposedly there's a ghost, an elderly man named Confucius. Okay. Um, the house was built on a Native American burial ground. Okay. Um, there's a genre of white ladies in white that appear to disrupt our lives. Anyways, okay. So I'm probably gonna post this without editing. I don't give a fuck. Today is Friday and it's 11:22. It's 11:22. Okay. I wanted to touch more on like certain topics because like I had mentioned earlier, I wanted to touch on, for example, the Appalachian Mountains, and how they were part of the Scotland mountain ranges back in the Pangea times. I sound so stupid. I sound so stupid whenever I say certain things, but honestly, what am I gonna do about it? I'm not gonna change. Also, I had mentioned the Dr. Pepper Museum. I fucking love the Dr. Pepper Museum. If y'all ever come to Texas, to Waco, the cult town, the cult city, the home of Baylor, y'all need to go to the Dr. Pepper Museum. I love Dr. Pepper. They basically take you to the whole like history, the old building, and all that stuff wherever it first was made, and then you can go across the way. They have multiple little shops. It's really cute. They also have you can make your own. You can make your own Dr. Pepper, and I love it. I love it so much. But it's haunted. It's haunted as fuck. I've been there. I'll talk. Damn, she can't breathe. She got sleep apnea. But I would like to go more in depth about the Dr. Pepper Museum soon. But I don't think the Dr. Pepper Museum, also egregores, if y'all know about that, y'all know about that. Also, like spiritual and religious psychosis. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate what comes out of spiritual and religious psychosis because 9 out of 10 times it's not good. It's not good, and there's always a tragedy that follows. And yeah, I would have to do more research on those because, and I would also have to put my sympathetic, empathetic, no bullshit, no stupidity hat on because it deserves the respect it does. Because it's very unfortunate half the shit that happens. Anyways, I think that wraps it up. That's about does it because my puppy is snoring and my ass is numb. Anyways, y'all, thank you for listening to my episode. See you next Friday and